Hi, everybody, and welcome to our second workshop for today and our fourth workshop this week. We're super excited for the topics that we're bringing to you today. So just want to welcome everybody. My name is Dorima Hamilton, and I'm the Executive Director of Ideal CDC. Like I said, we're really excited for this virtual small business conference. We're bringing topics that you guys have asked for. You guys have reached out to us, sent us in some comments, some suggestions, and some things that you guys needed help with. And so we're able to bring these now to you. Fortunately, we have partners like Pacific Premier Bank that will be helping us today to bring the topic to you guys. And so on behalf of Ideal CDC and the SBD BA, I want to welcome all of our business owners, all of our pastors, all of our community leaders that are watching, that are tuning in today. At this moment, I would like to invite you all to share this workshop, share with your friends. If you're part of another Facebook group that has other business owners that are part of it, feel free to share this resource to them. It's very important information that we'll be covering today, and we're really grateful for that. Also, please like it. Let us know if you like these topics, if you want us to bring more topics to you. And then lastly, just want to let you guys know that we will be answering questions. We'll be holding off until the very end at the workshop. So leave us any questions that you have in the chat down below, and we'll be answering all those questions at the end of the workshop. But I believe that is all the housekeeping that I have. Just want to welcome you all again. But at this time, I want to welcome our amazing speaker that's going to be joining us here today, Vanessa Cadena. She's a branch manager for Pacific Premier Bank, and she's going to be bringing the topic of how to build a relationship, how to establish a relationship with your local bank. So take notes, grab a pen, grab a notebook, grab some notes, and be part of this conversation. Let us know how we can help you and serve you at this time. So, Vanessa, welcome. Go ahead if you want to introduce yourself and bring the topic to our audience for today.
Thank you. And hello, everyone. Again, my name is Vanessa Cadena. I am the branch manager at Pacific Premier Bank. And today we are going to talk about establishing a banking relationship, more specifically, a business banking relationship. So, when you establish a banking relationship, we want to know what's convenient for you. You know what is going to provide your needs. Every business has different needs, depending on our transactions. Are you a cash-based business? Are you the type of business who only deals with credit cards? Do you accept checks? A lot of these factors come into play when you are establishing a banking relationship. It helps your banker know what type of account to place you in. A lot of the times we run into businesses that don't necessarily step into a bank. A lot of the times they're virtual. Does that matter to you? Do you need a bank that's local that you can just walk into or is driving distance? Ease of integration. Fees are always a big thing. I think that would be the number one reason why people establish a banking relationship and where they establish that bank relationship. On top of that, do they provide good customer service? Do you feel like they value you as a business owner? Does your business matter to your banker, which it should? Treasury management services. These are, do you process a lot of wires? Do you require what's called an RDC machine, which is a remote deposit where you can accept checks at your own place of business? Mobile features, bill pay. There's so many products and services that are specific to your business needs. And then there's some that won't even apply. Um, this is up to you and your banker to sit down and have a conversation. Expect the first time you open an account, expect to be there 30 minutes to an hour. If you're in and out, you're not really going to get the type of attention your business needs. You're not going to know what products and services you need because like I said, there's a lot out there that you don't know that a bank can provide for you. And you really won't know until you sit down with that banker and you have that quality conversation. Um, Limits, you need to know. Sometimes people keep certain limits in their account and they're going to get fees, or sometimes you go over on transactions, payroll service. These are all things that are done with your banker. And I would probably suggest going in and introducing yourself, meeting for the first time with the banker. And if it makes sense and you feel like there's a connection, then that's the bank for you. And more importantly, let us know what type of account you're opening, because that's going to bring us into, your point of contact, which is our next slide. When you enter the bank, you're going to see so many employees, and you might not necessarily know who to go to. Typically, at a desk is more so your account opening, and the teller line is more transactional. At Pacific Premier, we have our financial services representative, you have your client service representative, you have your tellers, and you have your bank managers. There are some other titles, but more importantly, just talk to someone, let them know what you're there. Any knowledgeable employee should be able to direct you. A lot of the times, our tellers can give you the same information our bankers can. Come in with a list of questions. We'd love to answer them for you. What documents do you need to bring when you're establishing a banking relationship? A lot of that depends on what type of business entity you have established. Are you sole proprietor? Are you a corporation? Once you've established what type of business, we can tell you what type of documentation is needed. If it means just a simple phone call, just call us, let us know how you're established. You will need an EIN established in most cases, and we'll need proof of documentation. So make sure you have that with you, because that's important. And if you're unsure, just give the branch a call and let us know, and we're more than happy to let you know, to save you a trip, because we've seen it before where you come in to open an account and maybe you're missing a documentation. If you don't have the full package, we can pen the account, but the account won't be open until every last piece of documentation is received. The next question, once you've established that business deposit account, is how do I get business credit? And business credit is important. It's equally important as it is to have consumer credit, your regular personal credit. Just like you have to have good credit, your business has to have good credit. You don't know how many times a business will come into an issue and they need business lending, or maybe they need extra funds to purchase material to complete a job. And we always use the saying that it's better to have credit and not need it than to need it and not have it. I'm sure you guys have heard that in real life too. So make sure that you guys are establishing business credit when you guys are opening up those business accounts. I would say if you have great personal credit, a lot of the times, not every time, but it can lead to good business credit. Business credit cards, perfect way to establish business. It's a great way to manage and track your expenses, improve AP efficiency, improve cash flow. And a lot of the times you can get rewards. So the same way you can get rewards and cash back on your personal credit cards, you can do the same with your business. So I would say that is the number one way to establish credit cards. There are some other ways and other options if you don't get business credit card right away. We have what's our business secured cards. If anyone's familiar with secured cards, it's similar to a personal secured card. It's a great way to build credit. Annual fees do apply. A lot of the times it could be anywhere between $30 to $40 for an annual fee. A lot of the times you won't need it for very long. It's really just to build credit. So maybe 1 to 2 years at most. And you won't know until you check your credit again and kind of see where you fall. So it's a non-transactional account that's linked to a secured card. So if anyone's familiar with the CD, it's kind of like a locked account where you put your money and you set your own credit line. So let's say you want to establish your business credit at $2,000. You place $2,000 in an account, you don't touch it, but it revolves. You use it, you pay it off, you use it, you pay it off. You're kind of lending it off yourself, but at the same time, we're reporting to the credit agency so that you are getting your credit established under your business. The same benefits as a business credit card. You can manage and track your business expenses. A lot of the times business owners don't want to use their money that's in their account. They want to keep what's called their cash liquid. So it's a great way to expense items at the end of the month. And as I mentioned before, depending on your business, a lot of businesses won't get paid until a job is completed. So a credit card is a great way to kind of loan out that business some money before they get their actual payment. Okay, next one. So after you've established your credit, business lending is kind of the next step. And like I said, having regular conversations with your banker is going to help you decide when and if you need these additional lending options. And like I said, it really just depends on what type of business you have, what type of clients you have, your vendors. But I do see lines of credits are pretty frequent in businesses, and these come in the form of working capital. So these are short-term lines. They're revolving like a credit card. A lot of the time they can be a more larger of a balance carried, or you might not have anything. So if you have a line of credit and you owe nothing, you don't necessarily have to pay anything. You only pay what you lend. So you're only paying interest on what you're borrowing against. And this can help, like I said, grow your business, used for a variety of reasons, much similar to a credit card, except for you don't have an actual card. You can transfer online from your line of credit to your business account so that you can use it. It's not a physical card like a credit card. The terms are generally, so you have a 12-month period to use this line of credit. And at the end of 12 months, you would renew. So you would have to pay the line down to zero, and then you have to renew to see if you qualify. A lot of the times business things can change. Revenue can go up, revenue can go down. If we gave you a $20,000 line, could you maybe get a $50,000 line? Well, if we want to analyze it and 12 months, we can probably get you a larger line, and that's probably going to help you expand and get to the next step, next phase of your business. The monthly payment is calculated at accrued interest plus 1.5% of the outstanding principal. And the rate is variable, so it'll depend on credit. Loans are subject to credit approval on terms and subject to change. So as I mentioned before, it really just depends on your business credit. It depends on your personal credit. Your rate is variable. And it's really good for short term. Long term, if you're wanting to buy large purchases, and long term, these are more like your equipment. You want to purchase an equipment that costs $25,000. Loans are the way to go. It's generally used for longer purposes. Your payments are fixed. So there's like much like a car payment where it is the same payment every month for a term. Your term could be 12 months, it could be 24 or 36, and same rates will depend on credit score. So the better your credit, the better the rate is going to be. So term loans, like I mentioned, are for long-term purposes, maturity dates. So these are 12 months to 60 months, depending on the amount. So the larger the amount, the longer term that we give you. The monthly payment is principal and interest fully amortized over the loan term. And the rate, as I mentioned, is variable and it's subject to credit. We also have our SBA loans. There are other loans. SBA loans are typically used to purchase. It can be, it just depends. They're really good for small businesses. They can be used to purchase commercial real estate. So if you don't have the full down payment that, say 10% to do a commercial real estate owner occupied, you can move into what's called an SBA loan, which is generally a smaller down payment. There's also loans through the SBA that can help with working capital, refinance debt. You can also purchase furniture, fixtures, all that stuff. But like I said, always sit down and talk to your rep at the bank just to find out which product is the best for you. And as I mentioned, every business is in business to expand. And a lot of these products are geared towards helping, it's good to maintain, but it's better to expand. And how people expand are, like I said, dependent upon the business. Sometimes getting another business vehicle, increasing employees. If you have the type of business where you're in transportation and the way for you to expand is, I need another worker. And in that case, we need another car and we need to take on more business if we have these. Commercial real estate, a lot of the time, in order to expand, a second location might be needed, or a bigger location for inventory and more clients and more employees. Increase inventory, as I mentioned, second location, equipment, machinery, cash flow, and working capital. These are all great ways to help us expand our business. Sit down with, have a meeting with, if you have a CPA, involve them in the meeting, involve anyone who does your billing, your managers, get everyone involved. And like I said, sit down with your banker. Business credit. So what paperwork is generally needed, as I mentioned, so when you open the account, your entity docs are needed. However you opened your account, we're probably going to need those documents. But if you do have an account there, we keep it pretty up to date. But just keep in mind that sometimes we can pull it online. Other times we will ask you to provide those. So we have a product that's called a quick score, and that's kind of like our quick decision loans. Depending on the amount, sometimes there's little documentation requested, and a lot of the times it's just an application. It is credit scored, but a loan application and 2 months worth of bank statements is usually what's required to get a loan, depending on the amount. Now, these are up to 25,000 and under. The business does have to remain under the same ownership for a minimum of 1 to 2 years, so 12 to 24 months. Typically, with us, a full banking relationship is required. Now, anything under 5,000 does not require a banking relationship with Pacific Premier, but I do want to reiterate that having that personalized service and having someone who will sit down and take the time with you, it makes all the difference in the world. So, of course, we want to understand how your business operates, and having your full banking relationships helps us understand how you manage your business, where your money goes, how we can help you save money, how we can help you make money. Each owner in the business, 20% or more, has to guarantee the loan. So if there's two business partners and they each have 50-50%, they both must be on the loan. It must be used for business purposes, and minimum credit scores will apply. And that is for however many business owners there are, 20% or more. Anyone owns less, then they do not have to be on the loan. For lines and loans up to 250K, there is a loan application, and there's only 1 year of tax returns and then your most recent financial statements, and 2 months worth of bank statements if you are not banking with us. Sorry about that, guys. I had an incoming call. For anything over 250K, there will be more documentation. And the really nice thing about some of the lines and loans that we offer is that typically there are fees associated. There's origination fees. A lot of the time, if you gross annual revenue less than $1 million, we will waive those fees for you. So that's kind of nice. For the one up to 250K, so this is going from 25,000 all the way to 250K. The business has to be under the same ownership for 24 months, full banking relationship, same thing, 20% or more must guarantee the loan, must be used for business purposes. Loans are secured by UCC filing on business assets, and we must be in first position for all loans over 100,000. Banks don't like to see business owners who have a bunch of different business accounts, the same business, but a bunch of different accounts at other banks. We don't, and also the same as lending. It's hard to lend when you have a whole bunch of other lines and loans at other banks. So it's best to keep everything under the same roof. And let's say you want to apply and you want to get a larger loan, and maybe where you're at, they're not going to offer you. You can still shop around. A lot of the times, if we can get you a larger loan, let's see, you have a loan at 10,000 and we're offering you one for 50K, we will still do the loan or the line and we'll pay off that other bank, and then we will just assume the loan. You'll just have one line or one loan with us, and your full banking relationship will have to move over. So don't be surprised when you hear a lot of banks say like you have to move your banking relationship, especially if you plan on doing any type of lending. Let's see. After you apply, some things what you can expect is you're going to get a response within 30 days. Between the day you turn in that signed application and the 30 days, if your banker needs any additional documentation, we will reach out to you. It's very, very important that you return those documents to your banker in a timely manner, because that affects you and the decisioning of your loan. A lot of the times, if we don't hear from you, we will have to close out that loan and just auto decline it. So it's very important that there's clear and concise communication between you and the banker. And if you're not going to be around, you can maybe delegate someone else to collect the documentation, or just be in connection with that banker. You will have an update and a decision within 30 days of a fully completed application. If you are approved, business docs are sent out and signed in the presence of a banking professional, and then you will usually get funding within anywhere between 1 to 3 days, and that's it. You're ready to expand and grow, and hopefully all good things. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Vanessa. That was really awesome to hear all that information and provide some more guidance for our business owners that are looking to open up a business account. I know this was something that came up for us a lot working with our business owners, especially at the beginning of the pandemic last year when the first PPP loan was rolled out. A lot of business owners didn't have their business banking account. And so it was hard to separate their personal expenses with the business expenses. And so it created a bit of a mess. And so this is why we're bringing this, because a lot of them have asked us about it. Like, well, how do I get started? How do I open a business account? And how can that really affect me and for the good, you know? And so I appreciate you bringing
Yeah.
this.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because I've seen that so many times where people commingle their money and we're
Yeah.
like, no, 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 business, personal, like completely separate. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you're operating as a sole proprietor,
Right.
you really should have two separate bank accounts to protect yourself and to
Mm-hmm.
protect the business. You're two separate entities.
Right. No, and that's a very good point, and that's especially who we've had the most people have more questions on are those are sole proprietors, because a lot of them they mix everything together sometimes, or maybe their significant other grabs the credit card and uses it, whether it's for business expense, and they think it's, oh, it won't affect me, it'll be fine, but it adds
Right.
up. And so it's really good to have that differentiation in different accounts and try to keep it as clean as possible.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so we did have a few questions come in. The first one was, do you need to already be a business to open up a business account, or could it already be in the process of you getting all your permits and everything in order?
Well, permits, we don't ask for permits. It's more of establishing. So, an EIN is
Okay.
first. If you're a sole proprietor, you can use your surname. It depends on how your entity is going to be formed. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you're planning on LLC, then you need the proper documentation. You need to go to file your paperwork and
Yeah.
decide, what name you're going to be filing under because that's the name that the business account will be under.
Right. Right. Okay. Cool. And then the next one was earlier in the presentation, or in the previous presentation that we got that was in Spanish. They asked about a business account, and I believe Denise mentioned about a business account that only required a $500 minimum.
Yes.
What account is that people can look out for if they want to open up a business account?
That one is called Executive 50, and that one, as we mentioned, is a 500 minimum. So as
Yeah.
long as you maintain 500, you cannot go below 500 in a calendar day. That account is free.
Okay, cool. So, good to know that. And then another question that came up was, when personal credit is good, excellent, then what paydex is the minimum towards getting a business credit card? I don't know.
If the Yeah, if the
Um,
well, typically, if the business owner has good credit, I've seen in most cases that the business card will get approved, but I cannot guarantee that. but
right,
but yes, I do have a couple of sole proprietors or sole prop using DBA, and they have applied for credit cards, and because they have good personal credit, they've
right.
gotten approved based on that. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then another question that I had come in was, if you have good, excellent credit, then what benefit does having a secured business credit card provide for with the bank?
If you have good credit, you really don't need a secured card. A secured card is typically for people who have zero. I actually have a client who we tried to apply for a business credit card, and I've never seen a business credit at zero. His score was at zero. So,
Oh, wow.
secured card, and it just said he had nothing.
Oh,
So it could just be on his personal side. He doesn't really have credit. And so the business needs to start from scratch. And so a secure card would be the way to go. And the only way to know that is to run their credit as
right.
the business entity and to weigh back and get the decision from the underwriters.
Okay, cool. And then the last question I have here is my business credit score the same as my personal, or is it separate?
It's separate. It is
Okay.
separate, but they do look at underwriting will look at the person who's guaranteeing the loan because you can't have someone who's not financially responsible and then get a business credit card. So it's separate, but it's not. Does that make sense? So they
Yeah.
will look at the entire picture.
Right.
And
Right.
the other thing I will say is I have heard of other businesses getting business credit through vendors,
Mm.
like Shirtsy or Uline, or I know there's some vendors. So what you do is when you reach out to these vendors, you ask them, do you report to Dun and Bradstreet?
Oh, okay.
What credit agencies do you guys report to? Will my business get credit based on these? So those are important questions for business owners to ask their vendors.
Oh, that's really good to know
So
that.
these are like net 30 terms.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Those are really good tips to know because, especially for our sole proprietors, I feel like it's a bit crazy trying to navigate through everything needed from you just to get started with a business. And so, having some of these tips really makes it helpful. I know for me, when I had my business back when I was in college, it was a little bit crazy trying to get my business license and my permit. And what do I do? An LLC, or do I want to keep this for a long time? So,
Yeah.
but
And a lot
having,
of the times they don't know. They're like, well, how do I know? Well, should
yeah.
I sole prop, LLC, corporation? And yeah, there's really no guidance out there.
Right, right. And so I think it just kind of depends on the type of business, like you said, and what you want to do long term. And that will kind of help guide you. But, um, question in regards to that, do you guys provide, like, say a business owner wanted to come in on guidance on maybe, okay, do a LLC versus a C Corp or something different? Is that something that you guys do? Or,
Not the bank, more so. I would say that's a better question for a tax advisor
yeah,
because they're going to look at it from that aspect.
right.
And that's not really the
Yeah,
bank. Yeah, we're not the best for that. I
right.
mean, we're good when they open the account. Hey, we're good. But as far because every business is different, so
Yeah.
you really want to talk to a CPA or a tax professional or even a tax attorney.
Yeah, and I think that's very good to mention that because that's true. A lot of times, sometimes I'll get business owners coming to me and asking me, and I don't know. And I think, like you said, it's better to look at it from a tax perspective because you definitely want to save money on taxes. So you want to see what is best for your specific business, what type of service or product you're providing for your customers. And so, for those people that are asking about that, I think, like Vanessa mentioned, perhaps talking to a business tax attorney versus a banker or a friend.
Yeah, definitely, because I don't want to be responsible.
Right. Yeah. No,
But
that's
it is important. There's so many moving parts, and when you're operating a business, it really is a team effort,
yeah.
and for me, the business owner, you should just be operating your business. Let the professionals do what they're good at doing. Let your banker tell you, what recommendations. Let your tax professional tell you, what can benefit your business. Let your payroll person tell you, the laws. Because business owners
Yeah.
aren't all knowing, the same
Right.
as bankers.
Right. Yeah. I think you need someone in every corner, for different
Absolutely.
areas for sure. And one last thing that I want to mention on this specific topic, speaking to our business owners, speaking from, what we saw happen with the first round of PPP, the biggest thing is like not knowing who to call. And this is why it's so, so important to have a relationship established and maintained while you
Hmm.
have your business. And so, can you speak on that a little bit on how important it is to have that ongoing relationship with your bank?
It is so important. I've had so many people call in the last year because I go out to businesses. I want to
Yeah.
know how you do business. I want to know, if your banker's not that involved, you can't, I don't know how to say this, but you can't really expect to call a
Yeah.
bank that doesn't know you
Right.
and expect them to have your good intentions, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we really should, but like I said, there's a lot of banks that weren't operating PPP. I heard some banks had their own list of
Yeah.
people that they were calling specifically for PPP. Well, how does that serve everybody else?
Right.
And the people who aren't maybe as knowledgeable. So having that banking, picking up the phone. A
Right.
lot of my clients on my business card, I have my cell phone number. Hey, call me, text me, email me, and I'm always on my phone responding. open communication goes both ways, so being able to reach out to your bank specifically and having that relationship is what's going to secure, what's in your best interest.
Yeah, no, and that's very true. And that's, for everybody that's watching, you want to find someone like Vanessa that's going to be in your
Mhm.
business, know your business, perhaps support your business, if whether you're
Of course.
selling food or products or services, who knows,
I
right?
learned so
So
much. I learned so much about businesses and I love it. I go out
yeah,
to different businesses and I'm like, there's a line of business for that? Like, who would have
right.
thought? And it's cool. It's cool. And business owners are always so passionate
Yeah.
about what they do. And I just love it.
Yeah, no, that's really great. And you can definitely hear that and see that. So I do appreciate you. And so if you guys are watching, find someone like Vanessa, interview a ton of bankers, look for
Yeah,
her. She's at Pacific Premier Bank. I don't know if you want to mention what location you guys are at. That way,
I'm in Carlsbad, but we have locations
yeah.
everywhere. And like I said,
Hmm.
I don't think my information's on the slide, but you're more than welcome to pass my information. Um,
Awesome. Well, thank
Email,
you. I
whatever.
appreciate that.
LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
Yeah, so I will definitely do that. So if you guys are watching, you like and you're near that branch. If not, we can find a local branch to you. I know we're located in East Los Angeles. There's one right there in Montebello off of Whittier, so we can connect you there. But let us know so we can find the right person for you from Pacific Premier Bank that can service you, like the quality service that Vanessa provides here for our workshop here today. So with that, is there anything else you want to mention? If not, we'll just say goodbye to everybody.
I'm good.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back here today at the same time talking about how to get started with QuickBooks and bookkeeping. So, very important topic. And actually, one last thing I want to mention, we do have on-site COVID testing for free. We just launched that. So if you're a business owner that perhaps needs to test your family, your friends, your business, your business colleagues, or your workers, come to our location. I can provide you more details. It's free testing for everybody. But with that, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again so much, Vanessa, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And we will see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.